Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, once said there was only one retailer in America he was actually afraid of. Not a Walmart competitor with better prices. A drugstore chain from Ohio, and the man who ran it. What Walton didn't know was that the numbers making this company look unstoppable were almost entirely fake, and it would take an $80,000 check to a travel agency to bring the whole thing down. Phar-Mor was a deep discount retail chain founded in the early 1980s by Mickey Monus, a young, aggressive entrepreneur from Youngstown, Ohio. His pitch was simple: unbeatable prices on everything from prescription drugs to shampoo to toys. It worked. Within a decade, Phar-Mor had grown to over 300 stores across 34 states and roughly $3 billion in annual revenue. Monus became a local legend, a hometown hero in a struggling steel town, an original owner of Major League Baseball's Colorado Rockies, and celebrated as one of the most exciting young executives in American retail. There was a problem hiding underneath the growth. Phar-Mor's prices were so aggressively low that the company was actually losing money, and had been since as early as 1987. Rather than admit it, Monus and his chief financial officer, Patrick Finn, began quietly altering the books, understating expenses, and inflating inventory values to make the losses disappear on paper. What started as smoothing over a few bad numbers became a 6-year cover-up, eventually inflating the company's reported financial position by hundreds of millions of dollars. Meanwhile, Monus was funding a passion project on the side, a professional basketball league for shorter players called the World Basketball League. It was bleeding money, and Monus was quietly siphoning company funds to keep it alive, along with funding an increasingly extravagant personal lifestyle. Investors, banks, and major names like Westinghouse Credit and Sears poured over $1 billion into Phar-Mor, all based on financial statements that were, by this point, substantially fictional. Even the company's own outside auditors signed off on the numbers year after year, despite gaps between what Phar-Mor claimed to have in inventory and what could actually be verified. The entire scheme fell apart almost by accident. A Phar-Mor shareholder noticed an $80,000 check, signed by Monus, paid to a travel agency for expenses that had nothing to do with the company. They were for his basketball league. The tip reached Phar-Mor's co-founder and CEO, David Shapira, who confronted Finn directly. Finn initially admitted to only a small piece of the truth, claiming about $1 million had gone to the league. In reality, more than $10 million had already been embezzled for that purpose alone. Shapira demanded to see the actual check registers, and once investigators started pulling real documents, the entire 6-year fabrication began to unravel. In July 1992, Shapira fired Monus, Finn, and several other executives, publicly accusing them of defrauding the company. The number initially reported was $350 million. As investigators dug deeper, it grew, first to nearly $500 million, and ultimately, once bank loans and stock purchases based on the false statements were included, prosecutors put the total impact at over $1 billion. Phar-Mor filed for bankruptcy weeks later. The chain survived for a time in a reduced form, but never recovered its former scale, and filed for bankruptcy a second time in 2001 before disappearing entirely. Monus faced trial twice. The first ended in a hung jury. After it later emerged, the jury had actually been tampered with. In 1995, a second trial convicted him on 109 counts of fraud and embezzlement. He was sentenced to nearly 20 years in federal prison and served 10 before his release. Patrick Finn also pleaded guilty and cooperated with prosecutors. Back in Youngstown, opinions on Monus stayed sharply divided. To some, a hometown hero who got in too deep. To others, no different from any other con man in history. Phar-Mor didn't need Wall Street or crypto or complicated financial engineering to pull off $1 billion fraud. Just 6 years of nobody asking hard enough questions about where the money was actually going.